Hello my students, welcome to the fifth part of our exercise. Now, after we studied our drawing, we'll begin to draw the views. If we look to the front and top view, we'll see that the most visibles, let's see, say like this. Here we have our cylinder visible, here we have our holes visible, our rectangle. So we'll start with drawing the top view. First we'll start with the base. We have our base 160 long and 70 wide. So we'll go to the line tool. From the home tab, draw panel, this is our line tool. We'll make sure that ortho is on, ortho mode is on, it's lighted, and we'll pick a start point. We go to line, start point, we have 160, we add 160 millimeters, we go up 70, to the left 160, and close. 70 to the down, yes, and enter to get out of our line tool. In order to draw our cylinder here and our holes, we have to draw two lines to from the midpoint to the midpoint and from the midpoint to the midpoint, because our cylinder is at the center of our base. So we'll turn on our object snap, right click, we'll take our settings here and make sure that we have midpoint. Here we have end point of an object, center, quadrant, maybe we need it, intersection, and we need also perpendicular. We'll add and we'll click OK. We are sure that it's highlighted, which means it's on. We'll go again to our line tool at the draw, and from the midpoint to the midpoint, enter line from the midpoint to the midpoint. Now we'll draw our cylinder. If we look here, we can see that our cylinder is diameter of 60. So we'll draw a cylinder with diameter 60. Cylinder at the top view represents a circle. So we'll go to the circle. At the draw toolbar we have circles. If we click this small button, we have many circles here. Center radius circle, center diameter circle, and other kind of circles. We have the diameter, phi represents diameter, 60, and we'll click diameter. Center point of our circle is here at the intersection of these two lines, and we'll give it 60. The value of our diameter is 60. Enter. So this is our cylinder. Now we'll draw our web. Let us see. Our web at the top view represents these two lines that are separated by 12 millimeters. Our center line is here. In order to draw lines, parallel lines separated by a distance, we'll use the command offset. From the home tab, we'll go to the modify panel and we'll take offset. Offset, here we have to give a value, half of our distance, 12 by 2 it's 6, and enter. We'll take this midline copy it above 6 millimeter and down 6 millimeter. So these two lines are representing our web, but our web is not along the base, it's only to this circle. So we have to cut piece of these two lines. We'll go to modify again and introduce our two commands. Erase command, select object. If we select this object and click enter, so we erased all the object. Go back, undo. We don't want to erase it all, we want only piece of it. So in this situation we'll use, from the modify panel, we'll use the command trim. Trim trims piece of an object. So cutting, this is our cutting edge, the edge that we'll cut our web to it. We'll click enter and we'll erase a piece of this object. So these two lines now are representing our web. Let's go and draw our rectangle here. Our rectangle here is a square with dimension of 30. AutoCAD helps us and gives us ready squares. This square is at the center of that cylinder. So we'll go here to draw panel. This is rectangles. We'll take more rectangles from this tab and go to square. This is rectangles and this is squares. We have the situation, center. We know the center and we know the edge. So click OK. Click at this. This is our center, and he asked me how much our full base. It's 30. So it's so easy. I draw my rectangle. Let's go to draw holes. Hole in AutoCAD Mechanical. It's a very easy way to draw it. We have standard holes, so we don't have to worry about drawing as in usual AutoCAD circle, center line, etc. It will come already on its layer and with center line. In order to use mechanical structure, we have to make sure that structure is on. This is first. Second, make sure that our layer here is AM0. Third, our browser is on. So let's go to create holes. From the home tab, we'll transfer to content tab. This is our content tab. Here we have many standard parts like holes, like fasteners, bolts, washers, nuts, pins, rivets. We have shafts here. We can create shafts, standard shafts, and other parts. We are interested in holes. We have a simple hole here. So we'll go for hole, through hole, and we'll wait our program to load the library. Let the select a through hole dialog box. We'll go down and select user through hole. We are interested in top view of the hole. Here he asked me to insertion point. Where is my hole will be at the intersection of these two lines. The rotation angle, I don't give anything here, it's 0. And he asked me for the diameter of my hole. Diameter of my hole is 20, so I write here 20 and click finish. My AutoCAD Mechanical will create me a standard hole with diameter 20. And as we can see it at the browser, this is my hole. I need to create another hole. So this is another type of hole. It's counterbore hole with 12 hole and counterbore 20 at the depth of 5. But first we have to dedicate the center of my counterbore. The drawing says to me that my center of counterbore is 25 millimeters from the back. So I'll go to my drawing again, and here I'll go back to Home tab, Offset command, and I give it 25 millimeters distance. I click on this back to the inside. This way I specify where is my hole center. I'll go back again to content and I'll check for counterbore. Here's we have blind hole. Here's we have tabbed through hole with thread, tabbed blind hole. If I click this small button, I can find here another kind of holes. External thread, this is thread, this is countersink, and this is my counterbore hole. Click this counterbore kind. He gave me all the standards, ISO standards, NC standards, DEN standards, and user configuration. Pick the top view. Yes. Insertion point. This is my insertion point. My rotation angle is 0. I click enter, and here he gives us the dimension. The biggest dimension is 20, as I remember. The height is 5. And here is 10. If there's something wrong, we can edit it. We click finish, and here's my counterbore. Let us check our dimension again. For this counterbore, we have the outside of 20, the inside diameter of 12, and the height of 5. It's okay. So we have a small diameter is wrong. What shall we do? We can edit our by clicking here on my counterbore hole, right click and select power edit. So we'll change our small or nominal diameter for our small hole to 12 and click finish. As you see, it's very easy to edit these standard parts. In order to finish our top view, we have some fillets to do here, rounding the sharp edges at radius of 10. This is what we called fillet. So we'll go back to Home tab, we'll go to Modify panel and click the fillet tool. In order to give our radius of fillet, we have to hit enter. We'll give our fillet radius of 10, so I'll write here 10, and I'll be sure that trim geometry is checked and click OK. So I'll take these two corners, 1, 2, and fillet them to 10, enter. These two other fillets, 1, 2, and fillet them to 10, enter. 1, 2, enter, and 1, 2, enter. I have fitted all the 4 corners of the base. I'll click escape in order to get rid of the comment. These lines I don't need them already. I have my centers as we can see, so I pick these lines and hit delete, or you can take erase, click here and enter the same. So I finish my top view. Somebody will ask, we have some hidden lines here. These hidden lines are coming from my groove from the top. This is my groove, so I'll leave them the next lesson. I hope you understand how we draw lines, how we bring our rectangles by clicking here and taking the more rectangles and choosing between rectangles and squares, how to draw circles with center or with diameter or other options, and how to use the modify command, fillet in order to fit our round, or use the offset command in order to draw parallel lines, copy parallel lines to a specific distance. Goodbye for now. See you next lesson.